When we finished the movie American Ninja, Canon gave me another script that was rejected by Chuck Norris. It was called Avenging Force. While we were shooting Avenging Force, American Ninja came out. American Ninja right away was a phenomenon.
American Ninja.
So Canon wanted to do a sequel right away.
Doing American Ninja with Sam Firstenberg, Shmulik, I call him, it was such a success, and I think it was inevitable for me to work with him again. When I knew that he was working with me again, I was so comforted because he knew the character, he knew how hard I worked.
The day we finished the editing, it was a weekend. Monday I was already on a plane on my way to South Africa. There was some debate when we started with American Ninja #2. My original idea was that Michael Dudikoff and Steve James are after the army, to make it a civilian, not a military movie, but altogether, but rather a civilian movie. They are already after the military, and I was thinking about an urban movie. But it didn't work out because they wanted us to go to South Africa, and to simulate America in South Africa is so much trouble. There are two huge film industries in the world, Hollywood and Bollywood. Hollywood makes a lot of movies in America, India makes a lot of movies, and therefore they have the most experienced crews in the world. So when we arrive in South Africa with a basic, very basic crew from Hollywood, an art director, a costume designer, myself, the stunt crew.
Well, I was able to bring a few guys in. We obviously brought Mike Stone in.
Mike Stone is a very intense individual, and he really does a great job in what he does. He's very focused.
And then we brought another gentleman in named Ed Anders, who was one of my proteges, and he actually had been with me for years. And then we brought a handful of stuntmen, and the rest we just drew from different areas. Sam realizes, as most good directors do, you're only as good as the crew that you have around you. They can make you or break you, give you 16 hours instead of 12 hours to finish the day. You know, I'm willing to follow him over the cliff because, you know, he knows where he's going, he knows what he wants, and that's the key to being a good director. Don't get out on the set and scratch your head and decide where to put the camera the morning of. Do your prep, know what you're doing, do it safely and efficiently, and make it exciting.
The main distinction between the two movies that in American Ninja, the hero, the American Ninja was not on a mission. He was not, in the beginning, he was not involved in the action at all, and he was drawn into the action. In American Ninja #2, the American Ninja and the sidekick, Jackson, so Armstrong and Jackson, they're on a mission.
Well, number one, you know, Joe was a lot more introverted and trying to feel things out and not knowing and trying to figure things out. And I think when he did American Ninja 2, he was a little more social. That was actually something that was really hard for me to make that transition too, because he was so different than the original Joe.
You would presume that when a movie is very successful, you will get a bigger budget to make a bigger movie, but this was not the Canon way. The Canon way was, if you have a successful movie, you make a sequel cheaper and see if you can make more money.
Making movie is the easiest thing in the world, especially when you've got unlimited money. Making good movie is the most difficult thing in the world. American Ninja was a very easy concept. You know that there's guys walking and then there's 200 ninja. The story is you can do in anything. You can walk in Wilshire Boulevard. Two old lady comes to you and you're trying to help, and suddenly all the ninja jump from you from all the roof and you fight with them, and then you walk another street, and so that was the story. Everyone can write a story.
I always loved writing, and I practiced a little bit of martial arts, and so I became very fascinated with the ninja legend. And early on, I wrote scripts about that. One of them was, I don't know, I had so many titles, but it had to do with the super ninja, and actually it had to deal with an American who went to the Far East and got captured with the whole philosophy of the ninja, but was more into not the fighting so much, about the supernatural part of it, where they were using their mind over others, and so in a way I kind of wrote or conceived the first of the American ninja idea long before I actually wrote it for Canon.
Canon Film was a company that was motivated by box office success, by how much money. So, in very general terms, when you have a success, you don't tamper with it. So we had a template here. We had a formula in American Ninja, conspiracy within a military base. So basically, we repeated the same formula with the hope that it will be the same financial success.
Menachem always treated me extremely well, and when we did the American Ninja, he wanted to cast me, and I then ended up being, I think, was called the Lion, believe it or not, in that film.
I want you to call that American ambassador, and you tell him to get some leashes on his men, or he's going to find himself in the middle of World War III.
You know, this guy's a pro. He's been around way before Michael Dudikoff was, and he had done what I think it was Land of the Giants and many, many films. So he was a polished actor in his own right, and I think I respected that, and it was so neat to be able to work with him. Again, these are the ways that I learned too by watching Gary Conway.
No, you compartmentalize. The writing is over with, really, when you're finished. And if you're the actor or the director, whatever, you're doing that job. So even, for instance, American Ninja, although I'd written it, I almost forgot that I'd written it. It almost didn't matter anymore. I was now being a part of this group of actors who were going to do their interpretation of this.
American Ninja, I presume. How very nice to meet you.
One of the scenes in the American Ninja #2 was a bar brawl. It's really a take-off of Western movie.
We came to the location and we saw the set work that we had to work with, which was the stairs, the upper floor. So we just used those physical elements, how to start from A to Z and work through the fight, you know, going up the stairs, then being forced back down, and those kind of things. But we hoped we added a more personal touch to it for Sam that he wanted to do.
I really wanted to create this feeling of a brawl in a Western saloon.
Hey, what's happening, brother?
The movie, anyway, is not a serious movie. It's tongue-in-cheek. It's kind of a light movie. So we decided inside this fight, let's have some fun.
The ninjas that were climbing the ladder on each other, they would go up the rock. They were falling and tripping, and we had to take it over and over and over, finally until it looked like, okay, those are real ninjas climbing each other, you know. And the same thing happened too when we had to jump off the rock. There's this huge boulder, and we shot it in South Africa. Boulders was the name of the place. And I remember running off that rock, and we had to run and jump off. Well, Steve James is up there, and he says, "Brother, because I don't know about this. I have never said this, but I can't swim." I go, what are you doing up here? Get someone else to jump off. So he goes, "Yeah, I better say something." I go, wait, hold on, tell everybody to hold. All of a sudden, the stunt double came up, and now he couldn't swim. But he was the stunt man. And so we still did the jump. We jumped off, went down, and I pulled him up, and we got the shot.
When we did the movie American Ninja #2, Canon Company had some financial advantages to go to South Africa. But at that time, it was still during the apartheid.
I was working in South Africa, raising money in order to do a movie, because the most important thing in life when you want to make a movie is to get the money. And I found out a loophole in the textbooks of South Africa, that you can invest in a movie and get double deduction. So I saw a movie, if you make it for $1 million, but if you can sell it in the foreign market and spend $2 million, so now you get $4 million deduction. So it was a good tax loophole. I had a line of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of business people want to invest with me in making movies.
This man is a criminal. Arrest him. Just take, no! He's a criminal.
The American Ninjas movies are not political movies, though today maybe we perceive them a little bit in a political light.
Stranger here, ain't you?
Excuse me.
Hey, Yankee asshole. When I talk to you, answer me. Nice and polite.
But at the time, the movies that we made, they were entertainment movies. It was not politically, or would say even economically correct, to make a movie that the story takes place in South Africa. This was the height of the boycott of South Africa financially by the entire world.
Yeah, apartheid is a terrible word, a terrible way of life. It's, as a Jewish guy that born in Israel, I believe that everyone is equal. Through the years, we've been the Jewish people suffer all this. So I believe that people have to have equality, especially in South Africa, when majority, 85% of this black and only 15% is white.
There was a still separation between what they call the three races, the black, the colored, and the white. That's how it worked in South Africa. They had at some point different identity cards, different color. When we came there, it was the time that they have decided no more different identity cards for different races. There was one card. But still there was somewhat of a separation, not as bad as in the height of the apartheid. Steve, being African American, had a lot of hesitation about going to South Africa. But Steve, he was already a non-entity because the movie American Ninja already played in South Africa. The apartheid rules do not apply to tourists, only to South African citizens. I went there ahead of him. I already saw and I already learned the subject, that he had nothing to worry about coming to South Africa. And when Steve came to South Africa, he also realized that, number one, he is not under any restriction himself, being American. But not only this, he found out that he was already a hero in South Africa. When he walked in the street, people already recognized him.
When you're doing these kinds of films, you know, you're all there, you're all ready to make the best movie you can. And that means, you know, you wake up with everyone, you know, wake up in the morning, we're all having coffee, we all talk, we have lunch together, we have sometimes dinner together, and, you know, you become a family. So, and you have to be able to be relaxed in your family and be able to be. And once that happens and you feel good, you make a good movie, and everybody's there to really do their best.
Mike Dudikoff became a good friend, and we every moment we had, we'd break out in Johannesburg in Africa. I mean, it really is Africa.
Every movie with Sam is always fun. It's an adventure, and we got the good fortune to travel the world. That's a vacation in itself while you're working, doing what everybody else wants to do is make a movie. You know, you get to meet a lot of wonderful people. You get to see history being made. history was changing in South Africa, and we were witness to that and part of it, so that was exciting.
Movie making has a magical element into it. There are so many elements that have to come together. When we shot the movie American Ninja, the first American Ninja, when we started the first scene, the first week, the first scene, we didn't know anything. And suddenly, after 1, 2, 3 days, we kind of felt the magic. We saw suddenly that there is this chemistry between Steve James and Michael Dudikoff. We saw that a close-up of Michael Dudikoff on the big screen is magical. He has this screen present. And those things are very, very hard to determine before you start the movie. When we made the movie, American Ninja #2, it's a movie that stood the test of time, one way or another, for some reasons. And we had this feeling while we were doing it, and indeed it was true. I cannot walk with Michael in the street. Hi, American Ninja, everybody comes to him. Some of them don't even know his name. They call him the American Ninja, just like this, in the street, in a restaurant. Hi, American Ninja, how are you? Can I get the autograph?